Welcome back. This is Mrs. Rubright with Algebra 1 Honors. Today's lesson is 7-2, Factoring by GCF, by Greatest Common Factor. Alright, so factoring out a GCF and grouping. So if I had negative 2x to the fourth minus 2x to the third minus 6x squared minus 6x, I'm going to factor out negative 2x to the first, right? Negative 2x. So negative 2x times what is negative 2x to the fourth? So that'd be times x to the third, right? Negative 2x times what is negative 2x to the third? So times x squared. So that'd be negative 2x to the fourth minus 2x cubed. Negative 2x times what is negative 6x squared? So that'd be times positive 3x. Negative 2x times what is negative 6x? Times positive 3. So I factored out a negative 2x, the GCF of all three terms, right? Or all, sorry, four terms. Okay, so now I have negative 2x times, all right, so I'm going to group these. So I'm going to do the x to the third plus x squared, and then the 3x plus 3. So I'm grouping them. I'm putting these two together and these two together. And then I'm going to factor these, right? So I'm going to pull out of this, I'm going to pull out an x squared times x plus 1. And here, I'm going to pull out a 3. 3 times x plus 1. Right? And then there was that negative 2x already. So this right here is supposed to be right here. So this is the same thing. Okay. So do you guys see how this is the same? So I can like reverse distributive property it and do this together. So I have x squared plus 3 times x plus 1. And this was already out front, so it stays out front. I feel like they break it down in a way that's more confusing than just doing it. I feel like they always do that. But the more of these we do, the easier it will get, I promise. Why did the operation signs change when negative 2x was factored out from each of them? Because if you're pulling out the negative, a negative times a negative is a positive, or a negative times a positive is a negative. And so that's why. When you're pulling out the negative 1, you're changing everybody's signs. Boys. Okay, so subtracting terms with a positive coefficient is the same as adding terms with negative coefficients. The polynomial could be written as negative 2x to the fourth plus negative 2x to the third plus negative 6x squared plus negative 6x. When negative 2x is factored out, then the coefficients become positive again, but the operation of the signs remains as plus. Right? So when you're pulling out a negative, it changes everybody's signs. Does performing grouping before factoring out negative 2x change the factorization? Explain. So I would have had negative 2x to the fourth minus 2x to the third plus negative 6x squared minus 6x. So at this point, I would have pulled out that negative. So I'd have negative 2x to the third times x plus 1. Plus, I'd pull out negative 6x, so I'd have times x plus 1. So the x plus 1 is still the same, so I have my x plus 1. And then I take these two and I put them together. So I'd have negative 2x to the third minus 6x. And then with this, I can do that some more. I can pull out a negative 2x times x squared plus 3 times x plus 1. So you end up with the same thing. Whether you pull your GCF out first or you wait and do it at the end, it's still going to give you the same answer. You still get the same answer. Does that make sense, guys? So you're factoring by grouping, so you're grouping these two, grouping those two, right? What's the highest thing I can pull out here? This. So this times what gives you that? This times what gives you this? The highest number I can pull out from here is negative 6x. Negative 6x times what gives me negative 6x squared? Negative 6x times what gives me negative 6x? And then once these are the same, it's like reverse distributive property. So you have this times those being put together. Because it's this times all that and this times all that. Make sense? When you factor by grouping, you're supposed to end up with a repeating thing so that you can reverse distributive property it and do this times that. Let's do another one. So if I was going to factor this, I can group these and group these, right? So I have 4x to the third minus 8x squared, and then 6 minus 3x. So when I do this, what's the highest number I can take out of 4 and 8? How about 4? And then how many x's can I take out? 2, right? 4x squared. 4x squared times what is 4x cubed? Times x, right? 4x squared times what is negative 8x squared? Negative 2. 4x squared times negative 2 is negative 8x squared. 6 minus 3x was the highest number I can pull out. 3. That leaves me with 2 minus x, right? But these are not the same, and I need them to be the same. So what if I pull out a negative? If I pull out a negative 3, I'd have negative 2 plus x, right? Which I can rearrange. Do you guys get what I'm doing? I can then rearrange that. So when I rearrange that, I would have x minus 2. And now they're exactly the same, right? Did I see what I did? So now that they're exactly the same, I have my 4x squared minus 3 times x minus 2. Do you guys see how that works? Hopefully. How could you rearrange the terms of the polynomial so that you would not have encountered a binomial opposite when factoring? You could have pulled out a negative from the beginning, right? You could have pulled the negative out from the beginning. Rearranged the terms so that subtracting 3x comes before adding 6. All right, so factor each polynomial by grouping. So if I'm going to factor this by grouping, I'm going to put these two together. I'm going to put these two together. So on the first two, what can I pull out? Negative 3a to the what? A squared. Negative 3a squared times what is negative 3a to the third? 1a, right? Or a. Negative 3a squared times what is negative 9a squared? Pull out a negative 6, right? And I'd have a. Negative 6 times a is negative 6a. Negative 6 times what is negative 18? You guys see how they both have an a plus 3? So now rewrite negative 3a squared minus 6 times a plus 3. Isn't there something in common in the first thing? What's in common here? Negative 3, right? So I have negative 3 times a squared plus 2 times a plus 3. And that is my final answer for number 1. You guys see how I did that? Let's try number 2. What can I pull out of there? Negative 2c to the what? Negative 2c to the second times what is negative 2c to the third? Negative 2c squared times what is positive 4c squared? Negative 8c and positive 16 have what in common? How about negative 8, right? Negative 8 times what is negative 8c? Negative 8 times what is positive 16? See how these are in common? So you're going to have negative 2c squared minus 8. You take this and this times one of the ones in common. How about here? Can I pull something out? How about a negative 2? C squared minus 4. C minus 2, right? If I pull out a negative 2, I have negative 2c squared minus 4 times c minus 2. But I'm not done yet. Isn't this difference of squares? Perfect square, subtraction, difference of squares. This is negative 2 times c plus 2 times c minus 2 times c minus 2. They left it like this, but in reality, this is difference of squares. Remember that difference of squares I showed you guys before? So that's technically c plus 2c minus 2, right? Try number 3. Try number 3. Were you guys able to get to 5s squared minus 2 times s minus 1? When I first did it, they were opposites, right? So then I pulled out the negative, and I rearranged this. So it was negative 2 times s minus 1, and 5s squared times s minus 1. So it's 5s squared minus 2 times s minus 1. Try number 4. at 2 times 2z squared minus 5 times z minus 4. Once again, this has the opposites, so I had to pull out the negative and then rearrange. So I had 4z squared minus 10 times z minus 4. And the 4z minus 10 had 2 in common. So it's 2 times 2z squared minus 5 times z minus 4. Are you guys able to get there? Yeah? Raise your hand if you were able to get there. Okay. Let's try another one. So, I want you guys to try number 16. So on 16, we're going to group the first two. We're going to group the second two. Out of the first two, what can I pull out? What's the highest thing I can pull out of the first two? They don't both have a 5 in common. T to the what? T squared. T squared times what is t to the third? Times t, right? T squared times what is negative 5t squared? Negative 5. So this would be t to the third minus 5t squared. Out of 10 and minus 2t, what's the highest number I can pull out? Pull out a 2. So that would be 2 times 5 is 10. And 2 times what is negative 2t? Negative t, right? You guys see how these are opposites? So pull out a negative instead. Okay, so I fixed it by pulling out a negative, right? And rearranging it. You guys see how I got from here to here? Does everyone see how I got from this part right here to here? You guys see that? Now these are the same. So take these and put them together. And that is our answer. So your homework tonight on 7-2 is page 379 and page 380. I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. Please like and subscribe and have a fantastic day. All right.